fact. That was.
No more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
What's up, horror feeds? You know what time it is. You're watching Three Corners of Horror. I'm Ricky Grimes. Thank you for joining us one more time on Horror Fiend TV. Let's get the show started. As you can see, we got a full panel today. First, I'm going to introduce to you our special guest, Tasha. Welcome back to Horror Fiend TV, Three Corners of Horror. How you doing, Tasha?
Good. It's nice to see Joe finally join me on here.
I know. You keep bringing Storm to Florida, preventing me from joining the show. But okay.
Don't let my secret out, man.
Storm. She's a fucking mutant. She's Storm.
And of course, the man with the plan, JR. What's up, brother?
Oh, the found footage film. Can I mention it? Yeah, I could mention it. VHS 99. But man, I wish I was back in 94.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what?
Nice.
94 was damn. That was Soundgarden. I remember what else was. Oh, you're talking about VHS. My bad. All right, yo, Joe, what up? The psychologist. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Hey, this is another VHS anthology. So we'll see where it's gonna fit.
Yeah. Well, we loved the last one, if you remember our review of 94, and I think that one we all agreed on it, except for we all had one that we kind of but overall it's a VHS. We dug it, but this one is of course VHS 99. We're still in the 90s, the turn of the millennium. The segments in this one is going to be the first one, Shredding, directed by Maggie Levin, Suicide Bid, Johannes Roberts, Gawkers, Tyler McIntyre, Ozzy's Dungeon, Flying Lotus, and To Hell and Back, directed by Joseph Winter and Vanessa Winter. Let's get the show on the road. Tasha, you are the guest. You go first. Let me ask you this. What was your favorite segment and why?
That's tough because it's kind of tied between two. But I guess since one of them is the answer for the next question, I'll have to go with Ozzy's Dungeon. When that started, it gave me like Legend of the Lost Temple vibes, and I loved that when I was a kid.
Yeah, so, Nickelodeon kid.
Yeah, it just like it was such a cool twist on something that I loved to watch as a kid, and you just that feeling of like, because you kind of wonder, you see them participate in these shows, but then you never see anything else. So it's like, what happens to the people who don't win? And what happens to, because there's those parents out there like everywhere, they get so mad that their kid doesn't win. I mean, in this case it was a little worse than just not winning, but it was fun kind of filling in the gaps with horror. So
you mentioned, what was that show you mentioned from the
Legend of the Lost Temple?
Yeah,
that was a good show.
You can see the age difference between all of us, because I thought a Double Dare.
No,
that was good too.
They're similar. However,
it's the same.
For
same.
Tasha's generation,
that's what I mean. Yeah. Like our generation, I thought a Double Dare.
I'm the baby.
I'm the old one, and you both. So.
Oh man, what's your favorite? How about you, Joe? What's your favorite? What segment tickled your fancy?
I like the Gawkers. That was one of the best ones. It was simple in a good way. The CGI on Medusa, basically. If we're gonna, all right. For me, I guess Tasha, maybe you. Clash of Titans. We all know Medusa. So Gorgon is Medusa. So the CGI was awesome.
Brother JR, how about you, man?
Me, as you could tell by my back screen, I kind of like the Suicide Bid. For me, I think out of all of them, it had, which I mentioned in the next part, it had the more potential to have a bigger storyline, because you had the mixture of a folklore, a little, legend. You had the fact, yes, and then you had the two things that I think a lot of people fear. One, being buried alive. Two, drowning. he put them in the same part.
Literally,
Don't forget. Hold on.
Rick and I used two different hands.
Don't forget
to
the
show.
rats. Don't forget the rats.
We haven't got to spiders.
Yeah, there's little spiders.
Oh wait, there were
Oh,
spiders.
yeah.
There were
Those spiders.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
I'm
my
thinking
God.
I'm thinking of the Cabinet of Curiosities.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
No, so they
There were
had
spiders there.
yeah, it was spiders. So there was a lot of wrapped up into that one scene. I mean, a lot of potential. The fact that you had the urban legend, like Joe said, of Guillotine, which is a funny name for a girl. But I mean, I'm sure there's something more about it, which kind of left me more curious on. All right, where can they go with this? And that's for me. I mean, I'm sorry, you get buried alive, and then it starts raining and shit, and then all the water starts pouring. It's just like everything you could possibly fear just got rolled up into one. And then you add the whole cool scene with the little window, and
that window
looking through.
You knew the window when you saw before it even started that window was gonna play a part in it.
Because what coffin has a window like that?
No coffin has a window. So you knew that, but however, oh my God, yeah, no.
For me, so yeah, Suicide Bid was for my favorite segment.
For me, Ricky Grimes, To Hell and Back. If you guys know me, you guys knew I was going to choose To Hell and Back.
I knew
I think the directors is a couple, and Joseph and Vanessa Winters. They did Deadstream. If you haven't seen it, it's on Shudder. Love that film, man. It's so much fun. And you could tell it's the same directors because this same exact style. It felt like you were in a video game in a sense, like a first-person POV video game. The demons, and there's a lot of cameos of a lot of creatures from, at least one from Deadstream was cameoed in this one. If you guys noticed a little golem, that was from Deadstream. And but yeah, I think this one to me was the standout in my opinion. I think it felt fresh. It had characters that were not obnoxious. They were just regular people in a sense compared to every other tale in this anthology. I just love the fact that they got caught in like what was it? They got sent back to hell by accident because
they were there. Okay, so they were there for I guess somebody was open to be receiving the demon.
Yes.
And so when that happened, they accidentally fucking got dragged into hell.
That was awesome, man.
So like that's Sam Raimi. But anyway, they got dragged into hell and they figured out that in order to get back is that they have to clasp on to the demon that the witches are trying to bring up.
That's cool. Yeah. So
that's a good.
What I like about it feels like if you go to Universal and you go to one of those attractions where you're on rails and you all the stuff keeps popping up at you. That's what it felt like. Every corner there's some demon or some creature or something going on, and you're in it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like you're on your edge of your seat because you don't know what's gonna pop up next. It goes by really quick, and of course, at the end, everybody dies. So overall, I think. What's up?
I'm sorry. I hate Twet Bit, but I actually now like that section. I hated that section. I'm not even gonna lie. I hate that section.
You like the little lady with the.
Yeah, oh
my God! When the thing came out,
again too, all practical.
Well, no, like there is one segment I like more overall, but listening to Rick, like when you listen to somebody talk about horror, like I get it. I like that segment now.
Tasha, let me ask you this one right now. What segment in this anthology would you want to see as a feature film? And I'm going to ask everyone the same question, but you're going to go first. That's a good one because I'm curious about what you guys are going to say. But Tasha, please enlighten us.
Absolutely, Gawkers. I love the idea of this like badass undercover Gorgon, like just going around and like catching all the creepers. Like, yeah, they were teenage boys, but I feel like that's kind of hopefully one of those things that you understand by a certain age what's creepy and what's not. Like, and that they had the nerve to be that creepy just annoyed the crap out of me, especially
I don't think he agrees with
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he likes
It's not
cockers.
Daisy. Daisy, stop.
Oh my gosh, she's been killing me.
It's not
But
Daisy.
especially because I didn't realize that I had never seen the first VHS. So I went back and watched that to try to get all of them in before I watched this one. So I was already in this mood of like stupid, creepy guys. Like, what the hell? And it just gave me like a whole extra appreciation for this one. And the idea of her like traveling around and just looking for the random creepers, like, because they're everywhere. So I love the idea of some vengeance, revenge.
That's a good shout. How about you, GR? You agree?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, anything that you have a character from mythology is always a good one to open up because you don't have. I mean, I'm sure you do, but you don't have too many movies with that kind of character with the Gorgon. No. And unfortunately, it should be more. Usually it's like mermaids or mermaids. But yeah, you need more. You need something else, man. Or vampires.
Sparkly ones.
Oh god, that's
and I love too that like Medusa especially is making this big comeback.
That's Flash of the Titans.
And well, yeah, that too. Like just in general, like I didn't even realize this myself until I started looking into it a little bit more last year, but she's kind of become like this symbol for like victims of assault and stuff like that. Like she's like the female
and yet personified ugly.
Yeah.
Even though it's about, basically what
that's actually what I'd like to do for my next tattoo is I want to get a Medusa tattoo.
Nice. I'm still Urban Legend. I mean, I think this one, Suicide Bit, had a lot of potential creating a character that'd be interesting. I mean, Urban Legend films are fun to watch, and if done correctly, like if I'm gonna knock this film, and this is the reason why, is when VH94 came out, it got such rave reviews. Everybody liked VH94. I mean, there wasn't too many bad reviews. I mean, we reviewed it, we liked it. Even the segments that we didn't like, there was still enough of it that we enjoyed. When VH94 came out, they decided we're going to do VH99, but we're going to record everything in 5 months of production. You cannot do that. This was done in 5 months, which showed in Suicide Bit as much as I like it because there was more to it, and it felt so rushed throwing everything in one shot to try to fill this, was it almost like a 20-minute gap per film, that it lost a lot of its luster. That's why I think the guillotine character would be interesting, and the fact that it does tie in, it kind of reminded me a little bit of like I Know What You Did Last Summer, but just all female, a whole female cast, and then you throw the folklore of the guillotine, this urban legend that 20 years, she tried, and Joe's laughing at an imaginary friend.
No.
You said because of urban legend.
He's literally taking all of my fucking sentences, all my notes, everything I wrote down
about this one.
Yes, you're
okay.
Well, hey,
wait. Ready?
Just go ahead.
Ready? Go like this. Come on, put your hand up. Tag. All right, go.
Oh, my turn.
Well, so, keep talking about it.
All right,
keep it going.
Suicide Bit should be the full-length feature. It has a lot of the horror stuff in it. You have Sorority Sisters. You have Urban Legends. You have a prank gone wrong. This was the best segment out of all of them. This should be a full-length feature. You want to know about Guillotine, Lily coming back to life. Like, you want all that. And I'm actually honestly surprised that JR and I agree on one thing.
Yeah, so for me, I'm going to tell you right now, as much as I love To Hell and Back, I would prefer it the way it is. I don't want to add more to it. I think it'll just a little too much of a good thing is not always a good thing. So leave it as it is. Suicide Bit is a tap on that. it's a good shout, but again, I feel the same way. I don't know what else you could possibly do with that story, and I don't want to see any more of these characters any more than I had to. I hated every single person in that segment. So I'm gonna go with Gawkers. And again, I hated everyone there too. But if I was to change things around, the Medusa character is, I think GR mentioned it or Tasha, one of you guys. Sorry. Tasha mentioned the fact you don't get Medusa or Gorgon at all in horror films, other than the Clash of the Titans, really. And
the CGI was awesome.
Yeah, it was good. And I was like, bro, can we end this already? But once she showed who she was, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Thank you. This is wow. Like I mentioned before, when she turned that guy to stone, and she got everyone else. If done properly, that could probably work more as a feature film, in my opinion. Because I think Suicide Bit, as it was, the story element was great. I'm a claustrophobic. I'm afraid of like insects and spiders and shit. I'm drowning. Yes, get me out of it. I don't want none of it. So that once the character was in the coffin, I was all about it. But leading up to it was a chore, in my opinion. But yeah, Gawkers, I would say that would be the one I would go with to kind of give us something a little bit different. But at the same time, I would definitely make the characters more likable in a sense. Yeah, out of the entire set list of VHS, where did this rank? Where does this fall in your like ranking if you're gonna give it like a placement?
So the only one I didn't get to was VHS Viral. That one I didn't get to. But I'm back and forth because I like this one and VHS 2 the most. I like the take, like in VHS 2, their take on zombies, the cult stuff. Aliens always get me. So I'm definitely a fan of that one. But there's something about every one of these, even though that I hated most of the people in every single one of these bits. The nostalgia from 1999. I mean, I was born in 87, so I'm like a 90s kid. So, the Legend of the Lost Temple reference and the Medusa and, the obnoxious band that, gets what's coming to them, the garage band. So it's kind of a toss up. I'd have to split them 50-50.
Yeah. So a middle ground for you.
Yep.
I am on, this is fourth out of the 5.
But Viral being last, I'm assuming?
Oh yeah, Viral sucks.
So I'm not missing out, is what you're saying.
No, watch it. There are some good parts of Viral. I'm not like shitting on. I am. But yeah, this is 4th for me.
How are you, GR?
I'll agree. This was 4th. I mean, if they would have took their time with it, I think we would have probably had a different product out. But I think they got a little too greedy too quick. And no, I mean, you could see where each of these stories have potential if they put the time and effort to them. Yeah. 5 months is not enough time for production. So they probably filmed for like 2 months and stuff, rushed through it. Yeah, and the difference between this one and the other ones had another storyline going as a major storyline component.
Yes.
To this one.
This one had also.
But it wasn't as intriguing.
Good. It wasn't as good. No.
It didn't pull you in.
Tasha, the police are showing up at your house right now.
Got it.
Oh, man. Yo.
Can you imagine?
You got a raid
Tasha.
Gawkers was the wraparound because that was the kid making the truck.
It was the wraparound.
You guys say you didn't like that?
No, it was the wraparound.
It was. Gawkers was the wraparound because I loved the toy soldiers. I was laughing my ass off. That shit was funny as fuck, man.
That's stoner shit to laugh at.
Yeah, you're right. I was high
you're right. I agree.
Tasha, I'm with you. I've never seen Viral, so this one is at the bottom of my list, not including Viral because I haven't seen it. Just to give you where this falls on my. I
agree with you on that part. If you didn't see Viral,
well, yeah, man. Let's go into this closing thoughts right now, Tasha. Let's go. Let's do it. Closing thoughts, final thoughts on everything as a whole, and give us a rating.
So I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I really,
Well,
I
hold on.
really
We do.
like.
Hey,
We're at a 5.
we don't
Oh,
do a 7 out of 10.
Oh,
What the
God,
hell
We
is
you're
go
that?
making
with a
math?
5.
He said a
I'm like,
7.
fuck, I gotta do math. No. All
All right,
right,
so if it's a
so
7 out of 5, then
five
Three-
is
three and a half?
high.
Oh, nice. You got 3.5.
there you go. 5,
3 and a half, I guess, is what it kind of
3.5,
comes out to.
3.5.
A 3.
3.5. 3.5.
It's
get a
way
bit-
too late in the day to be making me do math. I mean,
You give
7
it a
a.m. is
3.
too
You
early
get a
in the
bit
day.
3.
All right, let's
A
say
3.
it falls between 3 and 3.5. Let's just say that.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
A 3.
I really liked the nostalgia value of it for me. Just seeing, toys that I played with as a kid, like the soldiers and, that garage band punk vibe that my friends and I all thought we had when we were growing up, but we really weren't that cool. And then the game show kind of feel to it with the legend. I mean, that was like my favorite show when I was a kid was Legends of the Lost Temple.
Shout
Next
out to
to
Simon
you a-
Ogg. Simon Ogg, my boy from Grand Theft Auto, Walking Dead. Like this guy, he was the best part.
it
I'm
was
sorry.
it just no, you're
I'm
fine.
sorry, Stephen Ogg. I call him Simon Ogg. Stephen Ogg. Stephen.
I wouldn't have known the difference. So, but there was like even though like Suicide Bid wasn't one of my favorites, there's no denying like it did what it was supposed to do and it made me uncomfortable as hell. Like the claustrophobia, the bug, like I don't do spiders, the drowning, the buried alive. Like even though I wasn't a huge fan of it, I mean it did what it was supposed to do.
That was my second favorite. I would say Suicide Bid.
Yeah, it was good. So and to hell and back, it was really cool because I saw Deadstream first. So seeing Christy,
yay!
seeing Christy in a different role, it was
she's
super
great.
entertaining. She cracks me up. She's like one of my new favorites.
She's funny as hell. Yes.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, I feel like everything kind of did what it was supposed to do in terms of me watching it. So
Good shit. So between 3 and 2.5. JR. Oh man, I think we're gonna get something for that. What's up, JR?
All right.
Oh
so
shit, Joe fell. Hold on, Joe fell.
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear. I think I'm plugged.
Oh, I'm sorry. You scared me, bro. No. I was about to call 911.
Like I couldn't hear. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? All right, we're good now.
JR, so what's up, JR? What you got?
All right. So I have, like I said, my big gripe on this is the fact that they rushed this. I mean, to go from 94 to this was such a big downslide for me. And the fact that now next year they got 85 coming out. So I hope
the next one?
Next one, VHS 95.
Up to the 80s?
85, yes. Comes out 2023 next year. So
We're all
hopefully
80s kids.
take your time and make it good because this one you guys rushed to get it out at the time where horror was flooding the market in October, but I gotta give this one a 2.5. Now one suggestion I have: if you're to be, you already made Siren as an offshoot of one of a VHS. If you're gonna be smart with this franchise, listen to what we're saying here. There's certain segments that you can make into longer, movies. Do that. If you want to expand this franchise a little bit more, take these segments that people like that have the potential to be feature films and make
That's
them.
what The Conjuring does, eh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Take advantage of it.
That's what I was thinking about when you were saying that.
You have massive potential for certain of these films, and the good thing, and me and Rick agree about what this does is it brings indie filmmakers into the spotlight. So if you're gonna help indie filmmakers, help them make into feature films. But yeah, 2.5 for me.
Yeah, one thing I did notice real quick before I get to you, Joe, there was all the directors that worked on previous VHSs. None of them did anything on
this. Yeah.
Nothing. These are all. I mean, I like it when they give new directors chances, like To Hell and Back. That's great, but I don't think the direction was the main issue to me. I think the writing and the characters were just awful. Yeah. Joe.
I'm actually going to give this a 2.5 also. like listening to you guys, I'm going to piggyback off JR and agree with him. It's a 2. It's a 2. To be honest, it's a 2.
How do you agree with JR?
He
said 2.5, but
right, and I'm now going to say a 2.
That's not agreeing with JR though.
Well, no, I want to agree.
I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you.
I know, but I want to agree. But at the same time, it's a 2. It's not great.
I was at a 2 as well, Joe. But because of Hell and Back, I'm gonna bump it up to 2.5. I think this film here has the final segments for 4 out of the 5 were awesome. Like Gawkers had a great ending.
It did.
Suicide Bid, great ending. Ozzy's,
the better part.
Ozzy's Dungeon. Weird. I give it that. But at least it has some.
It's got Simon. It's got Simon fucking Walking Dead. That was all Simon. Weird for me.
Yeah, that's weird. So. And of course, you know, Hell and Back. I fucking hated Shredders. I just don't even want to talk about that one.
Yeah, Shredder was not good.
Toss that. All the besides to Hell and Back, again I mentioned the characters are not likable. Shredders, Gawkers to Suicide Bit, just bullies, bad people you don't care for. You hate everybody. You want everybody to die. The last I remember, VHS wasn't about that. They had
welcome to the new times.
I don't know what it was. I mean, it's not. See, when JR mentioned they rushed it, it didn't feel rushed as a production. What it felt Russian was like the writing, like the character,
narrative was
good show. It's
trying to fit the times, and
the thing is,
I've been saying this about horror movies. Horror movies should not be all fucking fitting.
But the problem is, it's called VHS 99. You would think they would add something with the millennium in there, or the.
And they didn't.
No, nothing.
That's what we were told when you read it. They were going to talk about the Y2K and
nothing.
Yeah,
dude, I was at a bar. I mean, actually, no, I was at a club at Y2K, thinking that everything was going to shut down.
Yeah.
And then like it showed up, and you're like, "Woo!"
So that's going to be your VHS 99 review. If you agreed or disagreed with anything we said, please drop it in the comments. Give this video a like if you enjoy our content. Please come back next week. I'm Ricky Grimes. Thank you, Tasha, once again for coming along. JR, my boy.
Here.
Yeah, I'm getting to you. Joe, she took a spot up there. Joe the psychologist. What up?
I'm only saying I'm here because Tasha thinks I don't want to join when she's here.
I know. I get it.
So I'm here this time.
That's right.
Even though she brings Tasha is the reason that Florida gets storms.
Fun fact.
Florida people.
Let's peel the curtain back.
Know that right now.
Tasha's been here. Tasha's been here a few times on, and this is the first time that all 4 of us has been on. Every time Tasha comes on, something happens in Florida that jokes.
I know, I live in Florida. What the fuck? Like, couldn't she go after one of you guys? Like, I haven't done anything.
We don't get hurricanes that bad in Connecticut.
Very rarely.
No.
Yeah, we do.
Tasha sends hurricanes to Florida.
Yeah. Oh, but thank you for joining us one more time. Check out our content. Enjoy horror. Please be safe. One more time. Thank you. I'm Ricky Grimes. We got Tasha, JR, and Joe the psychologist. Peace out and good night. Stay scared. Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe.
I was gonna say don't get bit.
No, this.